what do you want to see, or what can you see as a coach out there in practice in terms of ball security? Because I know you're trying to make but it's not the same as a game. So what can you really gauge?
So pocket presence, right? So whether in Skelly or the team, and the quarterback stepping in the pocket, is keeping two hands on the ball, right? Is his eyes down the field, still being a threat to run and throw, or is he, loose with the ball for a defender to come and get it? And then it's just putting the ball in jeopardy, right? So we want to extend plays, we want to scramble, do all those things, but are we putting the ball in jeopardy down the field, right? Risk versus reward. Like, yes, we want some big plays, but let's be smart with it, right? As long as we can still advance the football and not put it in jeopardy. So those are two things, right? The pocket presence of that, securing the ball with two hands, transition to being a runner, and then when we extend plays out of the pocket, or even just in a regular progression, right? Not putting the ball in jeopardy when we're throwing the football.
But will guys really put the ball in jeopardy in the practice setting?
Oh yeah, it happens. We chart it, so we chart that. That's a big thing we chart for every position group, right? It could be a ball carrier that's not carrying the ball high and tight, right? That's a ball in jeopardy, right? The quarterback throwing a ball into coverage, right? A double coverage, right? That's a ball in jeopardy. All those things we chart and just try to reinforce to the guys like what habits, what behaviors we want, as an offense.
You guys are in year 3 of running this system. Are there things in practice you can see that let you know it's year 3 and you guys are getting it?
Yeah, there's not a lot of mental mistakes, right? We're practicing more efficiently and more effectively, right? There's cleaner communication across the board. Obviously it starts with the center, the quarterback, and it just kind of expands throughout. And those guys have been working together, so there's been a lot of continuity.
You guys had your first scrimmage last weekend. You're going to have another scrimmage on Friday. What did you learn about this team last week? What do you want to see this coming Friday?
Well, I learned that we have some playmakers. I think we have some guys talented enough to make plays. It was our first scrimmage, still some growth that we want to see just with continuation of playing with lower pads. And that's just not the O-line. That's across the board, whether we're blocking on the perimeter or running back, fitting up a blitzer, just playing with lower pads so we can just dominate the line of scrimmages. So that'd be a big point of emphasis to see tomorrow when we scrimmage. Are we continuing to play with lower pads as a big focal point? Because we want to be a physical team. And physical is just not like running the football, right? Physical is on the perimeter with some perimeter plays and blocking down the field. So just seeing that whole in totality being more physical.
And what have you seen from this O-line, especially with Brian Stevens out for a while? You got to see that battle at center for a second.
Yeah, it's been good. My man Grant Ellinger, God bless the kid, right? He's done it all. And he's drinking from a fire hose, but you know what? He's unfazed, and he's been a bright spot. As a first-year kid playing center, we've had Noah Josie in there some at center, and he's an older, mature guy that can calm things down. And that's really one of the big things at the center position, right? You just have to have a calming effect about yourself, not being rattled, have a lot of confidence and command. And obviously Brian exudes a lot of that. Noah in his couple of days of doing it has exuded a lot of that. And we've seen growth in Ty. We know some of the things that Ty struggled with in the past, and we've seen growth in those areas, right, that gives us some confidence that he's growing, right, as a center, as just as well as he's growing as an offensive lineman, as a guard.
We've talked to you so much about last year Malik and Malachi getting so many of the ball. Are you seeing in practice the ball go to a lot of different guys at this point?
Yeah, I think part of it is our quarterbacks have trust in all the skill guys. And defensively, we get a multitude of looks, right? And our quarterbacks have done a good job of getting the ball to the open guy, right? And that's what we've been stressing is, hey, if I'm spacing, timing, trust in the passing game, no matter if I'm on the front side of the concept or the back side of the concept, I just need to be where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, and the ball will find me. And the guys have responded, when the opportunities present themselves, no matter who it is. It could be Titus Ivey that's shown flashes, right? To John Rogers as a first year, to, Xavier Brown. Like every practice, somebody differently has been involved because the ball has found them, particularly in the passing game. And then in the running game, right, all those guys have had the opportunities because of the way we practice with the run game.
How does it change your play calling?
Yeah.
Because I imagine last year, you're calling plays, but also you're thinking about let's get the ball to Malik or let's.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of game planning went into it, right? Was where can we put Malik or Mal kind of be the one or two in a progression? Where now it's, hey, we're trying to attack this defense, right? They're 4 down, cover 4, what's our best cover 4 beaters, and then knowing that if they take something away, then the next guy in the progression is accountable to be where he's supposed to be for the quarterback to find it. You know, and there's still some scheming in part of it, but at least, you know, just a little bit different approach when you go into it.
Do you feel like you're deep enough at running back going into the year? I know some of those guys have been banged up.
I'm never deep enough at running back, right? Just, I mean, the nature of that position. Heck, if we could have 10 of them, right, I'd take 10 of them. And, you know, it's typical camp, right? There's bumps, there's bruises. Guy missed a day or two here. You know, we're still right at almost 2 weeks away from our opener. And, you know, medical staff and the guys really just putting in the extra to get themselves back, right? Because after practice 1, nobody feels good anyway, right? I mean, now it's just managing it, right, and get to your best to be ready to go compete.
Darren Harrison had that nice block during the 101 drills. How much has he grown to be that all-around receiver and kind of learning?
Yeah, he has grown. You know, he has some toughness about him. And, you know, it's an opportunity presented for him, right? Right, it's no secret, 114 catches departed. Right, he plays the same position as Malik played. You know, we have Chris Tyree. You know, we have a couple tight ends that we can play around with. You know, you got Cam Courtney. So it's competition, and he hadn't batted an eye to that, and he's shown progress. Still want him to grow. You know, obviously, being from South Carolina myself, and he's a South Carolina kid, constantly pushing him like I push all the guys, but, you know, got to see him take some more steps.
Where have you seen the most growth in your quarterback so far?
Yeah. And just going back to what the first question earlier is really being very, very, you know, cleaner, taking care of the football, right? Whether it's in the pocket or extending plays outside the pocket, you know, risk reward, like take our chances, but let's take good chances, right? Not putting the ball in jeopardy. That's where I've seen the growth, right? You know, day 1 was like, holy crap. I mean, it was turnover galore. And then since then, you know, it's been where, okay, great, we're not turning the ball over, not putting the ball in jeopardy with that. So the growth that's taking place throughout camp.
How have you seen that handle the quarterback battle with Tony and Anthony, knowing that only one guy's going to get to go out there for the first snap?
We just handle it every day as a competition, you know, and do a really good job, you know, with Coach Lamb of, you know, between the first and second team, I was giving them guys equal reps because, you know, we're trying to plan. You know, unfortunately, as coaches, sometimes you plan for the worst, hope for the best, right? And with our history of some injuries and different rotations, right, you want them to be comfortable playing with a guy that may not be a starter, that could be in the starting lineup. And that's part of training camp. We have 20 practices. So we try to have Tony Musket have his opportunities with the first team, you know, O-line, and then Calandra has his opportunities, and then vice versa, right? They're working with the second team. And then we take into account, right, who are the skilled players around them, right? You know, a drop ball is nothing that counts against them in their completion percentages that we're tracking. It's about the accuracy and the decision-making that goes into it.
What have you seen from Kobe Pace so far throughout camp, and then maybe some things that you still want to work on and grow?
You know, I tell you, Kobe's probably – a lot of these guys have made strides, but offensively through what we have 14 practices now, he's been the guy that's been the most consistent in taking that step that we want him to take. And it's not just on the football field, like his leadership, right, of knowing he's kind of the older guy in the group now, and he's taking that and run with it and bringing some of these younger guys along with him and mentoring them. I mean, he's straining longer and harder in practice, competing, you know, because he wants to be great, right? He wants to be good. He wants to be the bell cow, and I think he's really taking ownership of that.
How valuable is it to have a player like that that's helping the younger kids?
It's very valuable because, again, he knows we're going to need those young guys, right? He would love to carry the ball 30 times a game for 12 games, right? Can his body withstand that? Hopefully it can, you know. But somebody else is going to have to play, and it helps him. It keeps him fresher throughout the season, and he understands that, you know, because he has versatility, right? He can catch the ball out the backfield. He's improved in his pass protection, you know, because last year we relied heavily on Mike and Paris in those third down situations. Now Kobe stepped up to be a guy that we can count on in those third down situations from a pass protection standpoint, because we know he can catch the ball. So he's really become a total, complete back.
Is he running with that? You talked about the chip on the shoulder. You want to have the edge. Can you see that in practice?
I do see that because, again, when we're talking about the pad levels across all boards, all player positions, he's playing with lower pads, and he's been able to accelerate through some tackles, you know, that we have. and he's got really, really good numbers in the weight room, and now you're starting to see it transfer to the field, right? And that's what you want to see. A guy squats whatever, he power cleans almost 400 pounds, whatever. When that starts translating to the football field, that's a good thing.
Did you recruit him out of high school at all?
I didn't have a chance. I tried, but the school I was at, he didn't want to consider that one. So, yeah.
What do you remember about him then, knowing the prospect compared to what he is now?
I mean, he was attended the same high school as Nick Chubb, right? So, not to compare him, but like his weight room numbers in high school was pretty good, and he was an explosive, dynamic, physical back. A lot of things that I'm seeing out of him now is what I saw out of him, in high school, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to stay healthy and play a big role in our success this year.